Hello, everyone, and thank you for joining me for our conversation today. I have asked my good friend Ali Mohsenian to join me because he does some incredible work with something called SoulForge. So, welcome, Ali.
Well, hello. How are you doing?
I'm doing really good. I'm excited to talk to you today because you've got some really interesting things happening at SoulForge. Can you tell me or share with everyone what it is that you do?
Basically, my goal with it is a photo studio that is designed to try to just help people feel more comfortable with photos of themselves. I think it's just a way to kind of see yourself in a different light when you've got some professional lighting and a nice camera. It looks really good. And so it's just trying to make people feel more confident about that. A lot of the people that I shoot with, that's the comment I get back is like, wow, it was a really healing process, or it was a eye-opening process to be on set with me while lit you all up and then take a photo and have it hit the monitor and you can see it right away. So it's a lot of fun.
It is amazing work, and I think there's a lot of magic behind what it is that you do and the way that you use lights and in the whole process itself. So maybe I'll back up and explain a little bit. So I've known you for a long time. You're an incredible photographer, and you've been like, "Hey, let's do photos," and I'm like, "Yeah, yeah, yeah." Most of the time when we
Yeah, you
do,
just always told me no. You'd
yeah,
be like, "No, I'm good. I don't
exactly.
wanna."
I
Okay.
mean, you put this stuff off because I mean, when you think about photos, typically a photo's taken for other people, right? Or you're
Mhm.
posting it on Instagram. When do you ever take photos for yourself? Like you don't.
Oh,
Why
yeah,
would you?
never.
Why would
That's a f that's a good point. I did a shoot with my wife's friend years ago, not years ago, probably last year. And, she saw some of my photos and was like, "Oh, I didn't know that's what he did." And she was like, "You should totally do this." And she was like, "What would I do with these photos?" And April was like, "Whatever you want. They're for you." It wasn't a like, she was like, "What?" And it's like, I 'cause I don't have a place to hang this. I don't need this. And it was very much like, that's not why you need to do it. And so I think sometimes people don't think through that process. And then that specific shoot ended up being her processing a lot of stuff through that shoot, the way what she chose to shoot, because I do a paint series, and what she chose to wear and experience, like, it was a very heavy shoot, where I gave very little direction because she was just whatever she was trying to process with different stuff in her life at that point in time, that's what was coming through the shoot. But she doesn't share them. She doesn't, I don't think she's printed them up or put them anywhere, but they're just for her. So
and I really want to dig into this process because when you go to get photos done, or just whether you need them for professional for work or whether you're just taking pictures of your family, it's more like a recorded process and you're focused on the end result. You
Mhm.
don't think about the process involved other than what I experienced before. I'm like, why? Yeah, okay, yes, I finally said yes to do photos with you. And I'm like, oh, now I'm nervous. Why am I doing this? It's just, there's no real point to it. So all
Totally.
that stuff comes up as you're kind of like, evaluating that. So it's a huge process actually going through the shoot, which was such an interesting surprise because you're usually only so focused on the end product of what it is the result is. And if the end product is something you're like, well, this is just for me, like,
Yeah, why are we going through all
why
this
would I
work?
do this?
No, that's so true. I think a lot of times, a lot of photographers, and I don't wanna generalize, every photographer's got their own process, but I think a lot of times you're expecting me to say, "Okay, stand here and hit this pose and hit this pose and hit this pose," click, 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 "Oh, look at that, we did it." And I found I hate giving direction. I don't like it. When I was young, when I first met you, I wanted to be a director, then over time realized, no, I don't. That's horrible. Um, I like trying to let you just be you. And there is some awkwardness there, right? There's some moments where you're like, I don't know what to do. What do I do with my hands? Where does this go? And I'm like, don't worry about it. I'm just testing lights right now. 9 times out of 10, I tested lights before you got there. I'm shooting you a couple times, I'm making minute adjustments, and I'm kinda seeing now I'm seeing you in your outfit or whatever you chose to wear against the lighting scheme I've set up. So I am testing lights, but really I'm testing you and trying to figure out, okay, how's this gonna flow? Then I will give minute, hey, chin up or look left, look right. And then as it pops up on the monitor, we can start to adjust and collaborate together. There are times though where the monitor's on a swivel so I can take it away from you in case I'm like, you're looking at it too much. You need to stop looking at the monitor. But I think at the end of the day, I always tell clients like the photos are the byproduct. They're going to be great when you get them and you're going to love them. But that's not what was really important. It was the whole experience in creating it together and seeing yourself. And even once you see the final edit, yeah, I do a lot of color push and pull stuff. I play a lot with color and things in post. But once I get to touch up, it's probably the fastest part. I remove the noise, is what I like to say. It's like the sit on your face isn't you. That's just Tuesday. That's you had too much sugar and you didn't sleep well. And now you broke out. That's not you. Or the lines, those are you. You've earned those wrinkles, but we can soften them and reduce them a little bit so it's not quite so it is a part of you. They are there, and we don't want to completely remove them, but we do want to kind of, quiet down that noise just a little bit and really let you come through. And so that's always the fun goal.
Yeah, and that was so interesting, and I'm so fascinated by this whole process of the photos because it's unlike anything I've ever experienced, and it was such a eye opener of just because I'm fascinated by consciousness and how you see yourself and how you experience your world. It
Mhm.
became such an interesting process to like, how do you view you? And so
Yeah.
what you're talking about when you're with all the lines and all of the softening of it, it is interesting because when you first delivered the final photos to me, I was like, oh wow, that's me. Like it was
Mhm.
shocking how much that was there because I could kind of get past what I see in my everyday mirror, like, yep, okay, it's Tuesday. We had a bad
Yeah.
night's sleep. It's not looking
Yeah.
good.
Well,
So,
I'm in my bathroom with really bad lighting and, it's a little harsh and yeah, it's different.
okay, now let's talk about lighting. And this is what's fascinating. Like watching you work with light was phenomenal. And okay, so you're just standing in a box, you're or, well, not a box, but you're like in this space and you've got all these different lights on you. And then you're adjusting them as you go. And then because you took several photos first and then flipped the monitor around so I could see it, I was in utter shock. I was like, wait, that's me? Wait, I
Totally.
can so I was phenomenal, like, amazed at how you could just with lighting, just it was so shocking with just simple lighting. I was like, "Oh my gosh, there I am." Like, is that really me? Like,
Mhm.
it's
No, it
wild.
it makes a big difference. The lights more it's always funny, people talk 'cause in my industry, I get a lot of because I used to do video, obviously, we ran a, agency. Uh, Gear is a constant discussion point, right? And I meet a lot of people that wanna get into photography or video, and they're like, "Well, I need a better camera." And I'm like, "You really don't." At the end of the day, the camera, especially nowadays, your phones are insanely good, and it's lighting that's more important. Anytime people tell me, "What camera should I buy?" I'm like, "I don't know, whatever's within your budget. There's a million options. Do some research." That's not what's important. When you're creating content, it's the lighting.
Now
Uh,
now
you'll spend more time on that than anything else.
and I wanna dig into this because I find this fascinating and from a, conscious standpoint. The lighting essentially is the environment that supports you. So
Mhm,
it was fascinating to be inside this fully supported environment where all the lights are just right and adjusted and you're kind of just like, okay, well, now just be you. And you're kind of like, well, wait, what is that? Like what is it to just be me? And it doesn't matter anymore because the environment is so supportive and the colors and the way you pull things together. I was like, whoa, is this what it really means to be supported and kind of be able to
mhm.
see myself in a whole new light where, it's just a regular day. It does not show you do not show up that way.
No, that
In a
makes total
regular
sense. The paint stuff I started doing, which kinda triggered a lot of this stuff, was I did a paint shoot with a friend, which I shoot with a friend of mine, Wonder, and she and I it's usually just if you look at our Instagram messaging, it's just us bouncing back and forth with like, "Hey, this is a cool shot. Hey, this is a cool shot. We should try this." And I think one day I was like, "Hey, we should." There was a photo of a woman just covered in acrylic paint, and I was like, "This is cool. We should try it." And so she grabbed like a nude bodysuit. I think the photo I showed her, the lady was nude, and I was like, "We don't need to do that." Whatever. I'm always whatever you're comfortable with is what we can shoot. So she showed up with a nude body shoot, and I was like, "I'm just gonna go really simple." And sometimes when I go really simple, is because I'm also being lazy. I'm like, "I'm just gonna put a light up," and I think I did a strobe. It wasn't even a consistent light, and that was it. One light off to the side, and then she just started smearing paint on herself, and that was it. And it worked so well. And it was what worked well when I replicated it with anybody else, model or actor, didn't matter. A normal everyday person. I've shot several just regular people. And it was the simple environment where they can step into it because it intimidates you. You've got lights in your face and they're all over the place. That can become intimidating. And so I like when we can simplify it down to you can just step into this area, the light's there, you don't have to worry about it. And every shot I take, no matter where you are, is going to look great. And then I can let you turn some music on and let you be you. And then my goal is to just find moments, little moments here and there. So I'll take way more photos than I should. I think you talk to other photographers, they're gonna be like, "Yeah, I need 20 or 30 shots and we're good to go." And I'm like, "Yeah, I'll end a shoot with like," I think yesterday's shot, we did 5 setups and it was like almost 2,000 photos. And but at the end of the day, I'm gonna narrow it down and go, "Here's the 10 that are awesome." But I found that moment because you were in your head and I captured you being you versus me telling you what to do constantly. Again, I'll make fine adjustments, but I like you just to be you. So it sometimes takes time too. The first 10, 15 minutes, first few shots aren't going to be quite there. And then as you ease into it, they'll get better and better and better because you're suddenly going like, I trust you and I'm good.
And that's such an interesting distinction because I think so much of us, when we go and step into a room, there's a level of performance or I'm here to do this.
Oh yeah.
And so what's fascinating is the moments that you're capturing are almost the in-between moments
Hmm.
because our minds and bodies have habitual ways of kind of showing up or posture or movement. And so when you start relaxing and just becoming more of you and showing up in that way, it's interesting then that in that expression and how it's because when you first start, you're like, "Oh, okay. What do you do?" I'm
Yeah.
like, "I don't know." And then with no direction, you kind of just like, "Well, I guess I'll try this." Now that's an interesting point though, because let's kind of dive into these scenes and stuff because when you're in a space where there's not a point, you're just taking photos for you, you lose the point of performance or what you should be or have to be doing in that moment. And so
Hmm.
and then when you're not giving direction, it's kind of like a free for all. And you move into a space of uncertainty, which is interesting because in that space of uncertainty, how do you handle that? But yet now there's no rules and you can do anything. And you're like, well, what do I do? And so now you get into that exploration
Yeah.
and you
Because
get
there's no wrong answer.
right.
Everything you're doing, there's nothing you can do that's wrong. 9 times out of 10, it's more like I'll switch a light and take a couple photos and it's not you, it's me. It's not you, it's me. I screwed up. This light doesn't work here. Let me adjust it. And a lot of times I like when I'm like in between me moving a light or adjusting a camera setting. And sometimes I'll pretend to adjust this camera setting and I'll let you kind of have a moment. And then you'll do something. You'll adjust your hair, you'll adjust your thing. And then I'm like, cool, do that again. And then in that motion, I'm going to take a whole bunch of photos and I'm going to find, okay, there's that moment where it hit just right. That movement looked just right, And so it's still letting you just be you as you're fidgeting. Cause I think it's good for you to see, like, look, even when you were just kind of awkward and you didn't feel good, it still looked great. And I think that's good for people to understand. Like you do look good. Most of the time everybody looks fine and they're overthinking about themselves, thinking that you're judging me. And I'm like, nobody's paying attention to you.
Yeah.
And so it's fun to have those moments where they can see themselves in it.
Yeah, and they're huge moments, and because I feel like when you get to the stage where you're posing, right? And we do this when we show up in a room. We're like,
Hmm.
here's how I am, here's what I want to present. I'm posing in a way. But when you get to the moments where you're in a more relaxed, there's emotion to it. And that's what's interesting with the lighting and the way you kind of set up the support room, and then there's your movements, and when you're in relaxing, you're in motion. And if you think about it, like if you're it's different in being in motion. There's energy in it. There's a light, a life that is
Mhm.
inside that movement and expression that you don't get when you're posing. And it's kind of like actors. When you watch sometimes, actors in the early stages, you can see that they're trying because it has this kind
Yeah,
of
right.
rigid
The secret to acting
posing.
is not acting, right? You have to embody it and become it so that it doesn't feel like you're doing it, and that's what we're trying to get past is because everybody's putting up a front. We're all putting up some facade, and so it's trying to break past that or embrace it. If you think about, like, your shoot specifically, you're not walking around wearing flowers all the time, right? But it worked well to say, I'm going to embody this image right now. It's still you, it's just a cosplay version of you. And then we put it in an environment, we have fun with it, but you're still there, you're still in it, right? I think a good example is I did a shoot with a friend years ago when she wasn't feeling so well. She had a lot of health problems, and her wonder was like, hey, I want to do a shoot for her as like a gift for her present. So she hired me. We got a location together. She brought her in and we shot some really pretty stuff, but I always felt like the shoot didn't quite click. And later when I shot again with this woman, we did a paint shoot, and she commented how, "Hey, I loved that shoot we did years back, but I wasn't in the right mindset." And they kept trying to push me into this, like, you need to be sultry and you need to do this and this. And she's like, "That's just not me. I'm not a sexy, sultry person." And then once we were in an environment that was controlled the way I like to set it up, I just turned on, I think, Chappell Roan for her because she's a big fan, and just let her dance while she smeared paint on her face and all over her body. And then as I took shots, she's like, "This is amazing. It's joyful and fun." But if you look at those shots, you can see the sultry sexiness that she thought she didn't pull off. She just needed to be her to achieve that. And I think that's what it is. It's trying to strip away all the other stuff, even if you're in a costume, even if you're role playing something else, you are still you and letting you flow out. And I think that's what we're trying to capture.
Oh, I love that. I love that. And I wanna dive into this because I was not quite brave enough yet to do paint.
No,
But
that's good. It means you're going to soon.
yeah, I was not quite brave enough to try the paint because I'm too nervous about, like, what to expect. But, what I can do is put on a costume, and I
Hmm.
do love to cosplay. And for me, and I think for everyone, the imagination is such a great place to
Yeah.
play,
Hmm.
because it really lets you, bring in pieces of yourself that you would never
Yep.
see. And that was the moment that was the most shocking. And in fact, it gets me kind of emotional actually, where you flipped it around and I was like, wait, who's that? Whoa, wait, that's me. It was like I could see. It was like bringing together my inside self and expressing it in an outside way that I could never have done. And
That's
so,
true. I get that a lot too. Even yesterday, we did a shoot. We did a shoot with, it was 5 setups. I had met this lady. She reached out because she had had a bad experience with a photographer. The standard experience with photographers, I think nowadays, are you do the sitting fee, or they had a sale where there was no sitting fee, or they waived it, or you won a contest. And so she had won a contest, came in, and they just run you through their paint by numbers, right? I'm not trying to, they're gorgeous photos. They're very talented at what they do, but they're very much like, I hit the same poses every time. Hit here, hit here, hit here. Put this on, do this. That's very a lot of photographers, a lot of boudoir photographers, I think, do that. Not all, but that's how she felt. Then they bring her back in. They show her all the photos, and it's $10,000 packages to buy prints and stuff like that. And if you don't buy them now, we won't save your photos and get rid of them. But having her on set yesterday was awesome because it was a bigger shoot than even yours because I had Wonder there. Some big shoots, we bring in a director, we bring in hair and makeup. It's a whole team around you now. Um, and there was at least twice where Wonder would have me, okay, take away the monitor. She doesn't need it right now. I'm going to let her focus with me. And Wonder's less, again, not directing. She's having her get into her head. What are you feeling? Think about this prompt and think about this in your life and being a strong individual and all these things. Not put your shoulder here, there. Wonder's doing that. Like we're both doing that at times where it's like, adjust here, put your weight here, shift there. But it was interesting the number of times that she would comment, man, who's that? And I'm like, that's you on the monitor. Like, there's no way that's me. And it's like, nope, that's totally you. And, in an outfit she's worn before, like she owns the outfit. It's her own outfit, but it's still seeing it relaxed in that form is much, much different. And I think that's a lot of fun for people to experience and have that almost healing experience.
Yeah, and this is something we talk a lot about. So, from an energy standpoint, from where we
Hmm.
go, when you are being you, there's a frequency, a vibration, or a word that you would describe that is you. And so, when you're, or especially like when you have wonder there, or when you take on that role of being that word, right?
Mm,
In the sense of acting, like kind of what we were talking about earlier, you move into that space. It changes how you see yourself, or it changes what it is you're expressing, and how you can be that confident person. So when you see that photo, you're like, wait, who is that? That really that confident senior capable, whether you're in a superhero outfit like going, yeah,
totally.
or whether
Absolutely.
you're, whatever that emotion or feeling it is that you're wanting to expressing, somehow that gets to come out as you dress up or imagine, or whether it's, wonder or someone kind of there helping you, just what is it that you're feeling, like even
Yeah.
what you just said with what, when you're looking into how you're feeling or what it is you want to feel, that expression comes out. And it's so interesting to capture that in that moment of
Hmm.
the photography itself, of what it is
Oh, it
you're
is. It's
expressing.
I think it's a lot of fun to see people ease into it. I've always find shoots, the photos at the end of the toward the middle or end of the shoot are stronger than the beginning because they're now easing into it. They're confident. The trust level has been gained, right? Whether Wonder's there or not, you're right. There's a weird exchange of energy. I find like after shoots, I'm very tired. Not just because it's not a lot of work. I mean, my studio is set up pretty quick in a way where I can move things in and out pretty easily. And so I'm not tired because of all that. I feel like I'm tired because I did have to take an energy exchange almost. I don't know how to describe it. Like to help you get to where you got, that's almost my superpower is to be able to exchange some of the energy so that you can feel that confidence as those photos are coming through. Yesterday was probably a really good example just because watching Wonder work with the woman we were shooting, there was a lot of exchange of energy there. There was a lot of, witchcraft or something with Wonder and I putting this environment together. And then we even had, it was interesting, hair and makeup had gotten sick and we couldn't do it at the last second. Like at 3 in the morning, I got a text saying, "Hey, we can't. I won't make it. I'm shaking. I'm sick. I can't. There's no way I can do this." There's no way I could find somebody in like, 3 hours to switch. So I texted the group like, "We either cancel and reschedule or you have to do your own hair and makeup. I'm so sorry." And she was like, "Oh no, I got it. I got hair and makeup, no problem. I'll do it." It worked out. Some people I don't think could do that, and we'd need to reschedule. But in this case, she showed up, did her own stuff. Wonder showed up, and I don't know, there was an exchange. There was some form of energy exchange that really helped her hit her pace with each outfit because each outfit we had designed in a way of like this one's the old you, this one's the unseen you, this one's the rebirth of when you discuss. She went through a lot of stuff in her life personally, and so it was trying to capture those moments. And then here it is, being desired was one of them, and then here's strength. And it was and there not even stuff you'd think about. The strength outfit was like a sheer dress with like a gold, like a black with gold frilly like lines all over like bra and underwear. So you'd almost enter like you're entering like, oh, I'm in lingerie essentially at this point. But like the photos, we did a really cool split, like a light that was covered except for like just a beam coming through, and it was really powerful, and it was fun to see her kind of fall into herself and that exchange of energy from everybody. But afterwards, man, I'm so tired. It just drains me.
Well, it's such a huge process because in a way you're mirroring what it is that they're going through, and then
Mhm.
providing a supportive environment that allows them, that's just purely accepting. That's just
Mhm.
like, hey, it is, you can be you. And then you hit that boundary of like, oh no, I look awkward or I feel awkward right now because it's just you standing in lights. And you're like, ugh.
Mhm.
And
Oh,
then,
totally. And
so
it's interesting too, because sometimes there's even photos where I'm like, "That's like, oh, that's a terrible photo." I once showed I think my sister-in-law, she did the paint shoot, and, her focus was very much her butt because she just wanted to really accept some of the changes her body has had as she's gotten older, and I sent her a photo where I was like, "Look at this shot," and she's like, "Oh, man, that's an awesome shot." I'm like, "That's like the 3rd photo we took where you were just talking," because April was at that one helping her, and they were just having a conversation, and I was testing lights, and I took a photo, but when I cropped it in, like, yeah, you look at the whole photo, like the wide photo, awkward and weird and dumb looking, but once I cropped in and removed some of that noise, it was an amazing photo. So even when you're awkward and you're standing there, I'm still finding moments that you might have just looked down and adjusted something because you're frustrated in the moment, and I captured the moment, and it's awesome looking. And so that's where that level of I have to let you kind of be awkward and be in the environment as I'm finding moments that are you, but still very photogenic and really cool looking.
and that is the incredible art that you do. Like, you're removing the noise. And that's a big
Mhm.
deal because we in our lives, or those who kind of are going down the path of kind of really developing and stepping into being themselves, right? You're removing the noise and
Yeah,
working on building that supportive environment for you. So it is such a process to be able to go through that as you're working, you know. So it's so fun to use this whole experience because that's what it is.
it
It's
is,
not the
yeah.
end result. I mean, the end result is great, but it's the byproduct of you going through this incredible process of starting to see you in a supported way or in the expression that you want to be. Like, I loved when you said in the beginning, because I didn't know what I was doing or what to expect. They're like, well, just go through, you know, your clothes, find what you want to feel. And I was like, oh, okay. Well, you know, where are my power pants, you know, that I love to wear into my
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
meetings that I'm like, hell yeah, here I am. So it's
Totally.
fun because when you put that stuff on, right, that's your energy that you're wearing.
It's armor you're putting on, right? And it makes you feel good, and then I'm just gonna figure out like, you don't I think a lot of times people are like, "I have to go buy a new outfit," and stuff like that. I mean, if you want to, and it's a good excuse to go buy something new, go for it, but you don't need to. You just need to be you and let me put the right lights on. And you're right, the final product is just it's a byproduct of it all. The photos are great, and that's why we approach things differently. A lot of photographers, you are gonna get brought back in, you're gonna be shown photos, and you're gonna have to buy a package. I hate that. I'm gonna charge you more up front, and I'm gonna give you everything. Because what I don't want you to have to feel is, I went through an experience where I finally got to see myself, be myself, and I look amazing. And now I have to select 5 photos, and that's all I can afford, and then they're gonna get rid of the rest. And I'm like, "That's mean." Plus, I don't wanna do prints and design a book. At one point, we might start offering those as clients start to bring it up more often, but I'd rather say, "No, at the end of the shoot, you did 2 or 3 looks, and each one had, you know, anywhere from 5, 6 to 15 amazing photos that I touched up and colored and got to where I look at the photo and I'm proud of it, and now you can have it. And it's high resolution. You can print it, you can post it, you can do whatever you want with it. But you didn't have to like hem and haw and stress out and whittle it down and select it. No, you get them all. You don't get every photo because I'll take hundreds of thousands of photos. I'm gonna select the best ones that I knew captured you. I'm gonna touch them up. I'm gonna, get rid of the noise. I'm gonna color. I'm gonna have fun. Some of them I push. Some of yours I really pushed. Like they're out there color. Like they're not normal standard color that people would go with. Like I'm pushing things and your skin is super orange because I'm really grabbing the oranges and the blues and pushing them and lowering all the other color. Like I do a lot of crazy stuff. But it's fun and I want you to have all the photos and not have to regret that you didn't buy enough. That's a horrible
Well,
feeling.
let's dig into that a little bit where you're just a little more with this pushing the photos. Because here's what I took they're my photos for me. So
Mhm.
I actually have my favorite one. I have several favorites, but the one in particular right now, it's on my desktop, and it's there for a reason because it's pushing me. In a
Mhm.
way, I use it to push myself to go, can you own that? Like, you are that, be that, and own it. Like, stop shying
Totally.
away from it. So it's almost like my dare, my push. So I love that you're talking about like pushing the color and pushing the boundaries, because now I have these, photos to go, oh, that is me. So it's kind of pushing my self-image and how I view myself. And so
Mhm.
when I go to walk in the next room, or, into the next moment in life, can you carry that inner
Carry that, yeah.
self that you see into your next moment? So yeah, it's amazing to play in this space, and as you're kind of developing yourself and how you see yourself, and accept self-acceptance in a huge
Yeah.
way.
Yep.
And then pushing past that to be like, and there's more, and can you really own how incredible you are as an individual? Like, that's the hardest challenge of all.
Absolutely. No, it is. And it's good. It's good to be able to have that photo and or, series of photos to go back to, which is why I think it is important to, yes, you'll put on your armor, you may cosplay, you may act. That's always going to be there. We do that all the time, no matter what. Every piece of clothes we have, glasses, whatever, the way you cut your hair, style stuff, you're putting armor on to some extent. So that's okay. Embrace that. That's you. But I still want all these photos to be something that you can look back and push yourself and grow and remind yourself of what it is. So I love when people just come in with just interesting outfits. They're theirs. They don't have to overthink it, and we can still have a lot of fun with it. And it's fun to be able to look back at a photo of like, yeah, that's just me in a jean and t-shirt and I look fucking awesome. Like that's good. That's what I want you to feel. I want you to have that power. And I think that's why we shoot the way we shoot. That's why we have the packages the way we have them. Because again, I don't want you to ever feel like I couldn't I couldn't buy all 15 photos I loved because it was too expensive. That was a $10,000 package. It was too much.
Well, yeah,
I
and
want you to have them all.
how can you pick? Like, that's the hardest part. It's because there's different expressions and different emotions of you in each of
Mhm.
those, and that's what's interesting. One outfit is you expressing one thing, or whether it's your armor, because you're like, this is how I want to be seen and what I want to present as, or whether it's armor because you're daring yourself to dream that big and pushing your
Mhm.
inner limits of how you see yourself. It's such a process to be able to kind of use as a self-development and
Yeah.
self-growth development process. So it was such a fun surprise to be able to do this with you, and play in that way. And I'm like, oh my gosh, like, there's so much self-learning, experiencing, growing, and self-expression. Where was I like nervous and not okay standing there? Like, it was an incredible experience to be able to walk through and play with. So thank you for
No, it's
all
good.
that.
It's good. I think everybody has that too. I mean, even I'm experiencing it right now as I'm trying to grow this business. I'm beginning to realize I now have to do things like this, be on camera and talk about it. I need to film myself. I need to be a content creator so that I can express all these things so people get it. But that requires me to then be in camera. And I never do that. My whole life have been behind the camera, right? I've always been producing, shooting, editing. I don't step in front. And so now I'm even having to take my own advice and my own experiences to say, no, you need to be on camera and you need to suck it up and you need to do this. You need to be that strong person you are. But it's hard. And so I like that though, because I can almost be on the same journey with the people that I shoot.
Yeah,
Like I get it. You're nervous. Dude, so am I, because now I'm doing behind the scenes stuff sometimes. And now I'm talking about the shoot, my process. I'm talking about how before your shoot, I probably spent an hour or two in the studio days before testing light setups. The shoot I did yesterday, I spent all day Monday setting up 5 light setups that would hit the 5 emotions she was going for, so that when they came in, I already had the environment set. And then each outfit change, I knew what I was doing and they knew what they're doing. But it takes time and I'm nervous all the time. So I feel I'm right there with you guys. I feel the same way you feel. And I think it's a fun journey for us all to go on.
yeah, and maybe that's, by the end of it, that's probably where you're at. You're like, whoa, that was a journey. Now I need to go
Mhm.
process all for
Totally.
beautifully.
Absolutely. Well, even yesterday I got an awesome text from the lady we shot afterwards, like, "That was so healing." Like, I get
Yeah.
interesting words. It's not just like, "Oh, man, thanks for the photos." She hasn't even seen the photos yet. Again, she's already had the experience. And when the photos show up in a week or 2, it'll be a reminder of those
Yeah.
feelings that she had yesterday, because she's probably still processing today what she experienced yesterday, and hopefully does have that extra pep in her step because her confidence level's higher. I mean, and I get too excited. I already sent her like screenshots of untouched stuff. I'm like, oh no, we nailed it, look at these. Wait till I play with them in post, because these are all straight raw from the camera. So it's fun.
So she hadn't even received the photos. She was just
She hasn't yet.
yeah.
No, no. She sent me the text directly afterwards, like, yeah, it was a healing experience. She's still processing. She can't believe it. And then I sent her I had uploaded the photos into my process and got them more organized based on the shoot, like a folder for each, and then started culling all through them and eliminating the ones I didn't like. And it just did literally on my phone screenshot, because I use my phone to do a lot of this stuff. I've got my process down pretty well, and just sent her a couple. And yeah, she was just like, "Oh my gosh!" And I'm like, "Just wait, these aren't final. No posting these. Wait till I get you the real ones."
And I think that's probably one of the most interesting shifts I think that we're having in this space where, um, and photography is such a phenomenal example of we have been in the past as a maybe society focused on
Hmm.
the end result. And I
Yeah,
think there's a huge shift that's occurring where we're realizing the wisdom is in the experience and not the end result.
that's a really good point. Right now, we're seeing a lot of shift because of AI, and we don't need to go into whether AI is good or bad or not like that. I think there's lots of problems and there's lots of positives. I think right now I'm feeling the negatives are outweighing it. But AI is a lot of that. It is a end result immediately, right? Because I've seen already 2 or 3 apps where it's like you can take a headshot and then it will make you all these amazing photos. It'll put you in all these amazing environments. And you're like, oh, look how cool I look. I'm like, but you didn't go there. You didn't experience it. You didn't, y- y- it, you can totally take AI and recreate the photos that I make, the lighting, the colors, and everything. You could get the photo that you've got on your desktop right now and have AI make that for you. No problem.
I think one of my
But you
favorite ones
wouldn't,
you did one of
you
me.
wouldn't have it.
Yeah, you did
You
one
wouldn't
of
have
me
that
when AI
experience.
first came out, you're like, "Hey, Vida, check it out." And you put me as a
Totally.
Jedi and then some
Yes.
druid, and I was like, "Whoa, those are amazing."
Right? Yeah, I apologize. I've fed your face to AI without your consent in the very early days. Before it was called AI, it was
Right,
some other thing, right? And because it's still not AI, we're still taking machine learning and algorithms
right.
and calling it AI. But yeah, you didn't have the experience. But now, if I took you here and put you in Jedi robes and gave you a lightsaber and we took some photos, that experience is what matters. The end
Yes.
product, and we've said that always, right? It's the journey, not the
Yeah,
destination. Like, same thing. And I think right now we're seeing that big time because AI is creating these instances where you could just skip a lot of the work, the hard work yourself and learning it and doing it, and just have this thing do it in an okay way.
yeah.
But again, you can get all the photos of yourself you want and cool poses and lighting and everything, and it's neat, but you weren't there experiencing it. You didn't have the healing experience. You didn't have the self-confidence boosting experience. And that's why the photos, I think, they're fun and I love delivering them, but they are not what matters. It was the shoot itself that mattered more than anything.
Right, and this is the biggest piece, right? This is where we've always been focused on the end result of ourselves, what we look like, how amazing we are, what our achievements have been, and what we've done in life. And now we're kind of dropping the importance level on that and shifting it back into the experience. And
Mhm.
now it becomes just the wild experience of, do you remember when I was, so nervous and this was so difficult and I went through this horrible, hard thing? And then, wow, look at the transition into what has moved into and how it's shifted and how it shaped me. Like,
Mhm.
that's like the wow, is the
Yeah.
process of the journey versus like, oh, and then there's a nice end result. So I'm phenomenally excited in what this means for how we see ourselves and taking off this picture of what we think it should be and what it should look like into this. oh no, this process was beautiful, and
Yeah.
loving,
And
all the
authentic,
pieces.
right? It's
Mhm.
very authentic. I think a lot of times people will be like, "Oh, do you do engagement photos or family photos?" And I'm like, usually I say no. Engagement photos I've started doing recently, I just give the caveat of like, "Look, if you wanna be together in the woods and all lovey-dovey, I'm probably the wrong person to go with." Not that we're not gonna achieve that. I'm gonna get a great photo that is very much the 2 of you. But if you just want the standard stuff, then you need to go get a photographer that knows the right locations to go to and hits all the normal poses, and it feels wrong. Like, I think a lot of family photos, when I look at them, I'm like, "Yeah, that's not your family. That was you all posed in the same jeans and white shirt in the woods, and you took 20 photos before the kids finally, looked straight down the lens and blah blah blah." But I'm like, that's not your family. Like, what if we did an actual? It'd be interesting. I haven't done it. It'd be interesting to do a real family shoot where I'm like, freaking, let's go to your house that's chaotic and messy and be okay with it and find some cool stuff. I don't know. It'd be interesting. But I think that authentic feeling,
Yeah,
yes, the paint, the you against the flower wall, that is still performative to some level, but I promise you're in it, very much in it.
yeah.
Even if we did provide an environment that's a little different for you.
Well, Ali, thank you for this discussion. I think it's such a great example of what we're all kind of moving through and getting to in that self-love and acceptance and how we get
Mhm.
there and loving the journey of our experience. So thank you so much. I appreciate
No, thank you. I look forward to doing the paint shoot with you soon.
it. Yeah, well,
You gotta try
I
it.
gotta work up to that one. Haven't been brave enough. I'm working on it.
It's good, it's good. It's a lot of fun. It's fun because I think I find it fascinating that it's the same exact setup, same colors of paint options, one light. I make it really simple, yet you look at each of those, everybody's is different based on the colors they choose, how they move. It's fun. It's a lot of fun to see each same exact setup over and over again, but totally unique shoot every time.
Yeah, and
So,
very raw, which is
yeah, that's true. You are in a nude bodysuit. It's very vulnerable. It's a bit different. I've had some people even go all the way as to where they're completely naked by the time they're done with the shoot. So it is a much different experience. I agree. It's
yeah.
very vulnerable.
Well, maybe next time for me.
Totally. We'll get there.
I'll
We'll
get
work our
there.
way up to it.
Yes. Thank you so much.
No problem. Thank you.
See you again soon.
Bye.
Bye.